Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Angel Says Art. Happy to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hi, new people. This is a channel that's kind of always forever changing, where I like to discuss things that have to do with art, creativity, and the way that we mold that into our everyday lives, but also what that means for our mental health and our sense of being. And I do talk about social justice because to me, I think art is revolutionary and art is protest and art is a way that we seek to express ourselves about the world around us. And I think that's really significant right now, everybody. I have a new piece, see? The dragonfly. I wasn't going to make a full video about this painting. I wasn't. It was just going to be a short, it was a moment in time where I was having a lot of feelings and I needed a day to play. I needed a day to just be kid-like. I needed a day to just let loose. And what was interesting is that actually came through in this painting, and that's what people are picking up on the short. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. This need that we have to play. So, have a coffee, have a drink, have a snack. Have me playing in the background while you do your own art, your own journaling, your own crafting, your own sewing. Have me in the background while you clean your studio. We love that. Or how clean your house. All right, guys. I'm going to see you on the other side. Let's go. So a really cool thing here is I had pre-gessoed a handful of different size canvases like 6 months ago or something like that. And so I just want to say, if you ever want to do, like, you feel like doing something, but you don't necessarily want to do art, I highly suggest that you take the time to pre gesso a handful of canvases for yourself. And then it's like Christmas when you really want to get something done, but you don't feel like gessoing anything. I have to tell you, I was so happy and so like, I just want to give myself a hug. And so I say, if you want your future self to be super happy, take the time now to pre gesso some canvases for yourself. So I just wanted to give you all some insight about this piece. I was just really yearning to do something and let go and not have to overthink it, not have to consider it for too long or come up with a pre plan. And I just wanted to do something that felt free. I wanted to play. I wanted to play like a child would when you were a kid and you would just get whatever supplies you had around you, whether it was markers or crayons or even paint or even Play-Doh. And you would just construct and you would just build and you would just use your hands. And it was very organic and there was nothing in your way. You didn't stand in your way. Other people didn't stand in your way. And you just created whatever it was that you were feeling at the time. That's what I wanted to do. And I realized that, as adults, we get so wrapped up in, I don't know, we just overthink everything. And everything has to be perfect. And I think some of us deal with this idea of perfection maybe differently or more so than other artists. And so I'm sure people can relate to this idea of perfection, on various levels. I have always been a perfectionist in my art, but like in my life, just out of a sense of like control. Um, and it wasn't really about anything but needing to have control in my life. And so that actually transferred over into my art for many, many years. And that's not artistic. It really drains you and turns your art practice into a total freaking downer. So I woke up on this day and I said, today is it. I'm not even thinking about it anymore. I'm gonna do it. And like I said before, I had these pre-gessoed canvases, which made me super happy when I went to grab one. And I just said, you know what? I am going to paint the dragonfly that I have had on my mind for over a year now. There's this awesome red dragonfly that comes around and visits our yard every season. It's like just one dragonfly. Like he never has friends or anything, and he comes to the same spot. And I guess he likes I'm just saying he's a he. I don't know. He likes the flowers that we have in our backyard. And it's amazing. And when he's here, if I sit outside, it flutters around my head and like says hello. And it's the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. This was the first time in my life that I have ever seen a red dragonfly. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even know they existed. I've seen other dragonflies that I don't know what regular dragonflies. So I looked it up. And in case you geek out on stuff like this, like I do, they are actually called cherry face, which I thought was really cute. Cherry faced meadowhawk, or in some other places across the United States. So I'm in California, um, but across the United States and other places, they're called also a neon skimmer. And then there's also an autumn meadowhawk. So I think all of those things are super cool. All of those names are really awesome. I have to say that I think the cherry faced meadowhawk is definitely my favorite. I do work with a blow dryer when I paint because, working with acrylic is quick anyway because it dries quick. But when you're in a rush and you need to finish something, or you're just impatient like I am, I highly suggest you get a hair dryer if you don't have one. I put it on the middle setting, and it really, really just speeds up your dry time so that you can keep on moving. I wanted to add spots of green in all these different areas, and it's supposed to give kind of an abstract feeling of leaves or kind of foliage in the background. So this is supposed to be like a sort of micro view. In my mind's eye, that's what I saw, like a really micro view of a dragonfly, like very, very up close. And so I'm trying to give this feeling of leaves, and I'm using a fan brush to do that. And I'm just barely swiping, as you can see, because I'm trying to keep line, that line, what am I trying to say? Texture, I guess. That's creating visual texture. And this is often the type of background that I do for my paintings. More is more in my case. And I know that, you know, everybody's different, everybody has their own styles. In my case, more is more. Here, I'm actually using, it's the equivalent of like gold flake, except you can find it in a bunch of different colors. And I actually found it in this turquoise color that I absolutely love. I don't remember where I got it from. I'm gonna say Hobby Lobby. I think it came from Hobby Lobby. And then you see me laying it down here with Mod Podge to keep it. I want that texture. It's gritty. It's almost like if I was pouring coffee over the top of the canvas. That's what it feels like, and that's the grit that it gives on the canvas. And so I'll do this, and then I'll take it back to the dryer, and then I'll put it under the dryer so then I can keep going. One of my most favorite mediums that I discovered about 2 years ago, I believe, is this gold leaf. And you can buy the sheets. And what I did was I bought the sheets and then I crumpled them all up because I actually like the crumples. And I bought sheets that were in three different colors. So you have that copper color, that silver color, and that gold color. And then I, crinkled them all up and made a big old pile and then put them in a Tupperware like that. And that's how I store it. And what you see me applying it with is, again, Mod Podge. So I put some Mod Podge in a container and then I dip the brush in there and then I dip it straight into, as you can see, I dip it straight into the container and I apply it and I keep brushing and rubbing um, to get the sort of texture that I want. And I just play around with it. This is my most favorite part. I find it extremely relaxing, but it's also really satisfying to watch the gold leaf like lay down and take shape on your canvas. It's so nice. I just like zone out. It's so ASMR. It's so meditative. Um, I did get a comment on the short on YouTube that said something like, I wasn't aware that you could use gold leaf in this way. And you know what? I wanted to say something about that. I think that even I have had to learn this. Trust me, I am no expert. Like I said at the beginning of this video, my art journey has been such a long one. I have had to really unlearn certain thoughts and narratives and self, defeating voices that we have about ourselves, about our artistry. And I've had to unlearn and then relearn that, you know what, I can do things because they're meaningful to me. If it's there, I want to play with it. And I've applied so many different things to my art practice. I don't think that I filmed, but I also often use artists molding paste. That's the more expensive stuff that you can get from the, or modeling paste. You can get it from the art, like any art store. Um, but you know, the cheap version of that, like before I had any real money to put towards my art practice, when you're still just trying to get it done as cheaply as possible, you can use straight up wall spackle. And because I am a person that loves texture, but I don't work, I love the texture of oil paint, but I don't paint in oil. I love oil and I have used it, and I use it actually as an after, like kind of like the period to my sentence. I will take oil and utilize it as another way to create texture that lifts off of the canvas. At the very end, when I am done, I will add oil. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it to this painting. I think this painting might be left as is. But so, what have I mentioned? I use gold leaf a lot. I use spackle and or modeling paste a lot. I also use what are those things called? I'm drawing a total blank right now. Um, Pastel. I use pastel sticks a lot. And I just love, oh, there's the spackle. There's the spackle. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I use it a lot. And these things, and I have to tell you, I love them. And they just do whatever feels good to you. That's the thing. I say all that. It was a long winded way of saying try to let go to those internalized messages. We internalize them for maybe people around us, for maybe teachers, mentors. We internalize things from the world, from society, that somehow things need to be done this one way. And in fact, no, they don't. And I challenge that and I do whatever makes me feel good. And I go to the hardware store often and I'm always trying to explore what could be used in a different way. It's almost like I'm always challenging, like, no, you're not going to tell me no. I could totally do this. You know, just saying, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do it anyway. I think it's a revolutionary act. And yes, it's being a little bit, what do you call it? Um, Defiant, but it also is kind of kid-like, isn't it? Um, Kids are very truthful by nature. They don't often have a filter and they don't need to over explain. And I think this is really what I needed this day. And you know what? I did this painting in a few hours, no joke. I executed this painting in a few hours because I was so in the zone of just freedom and it felt so good. I really, really hope that you all will try this. Try this for yourself. The freedom of whatever art form it is that you do, just go do it. Do it freely and don't think about it. You weren't, I wasn't recording. You feel that? Yeah, I can't, it's moving there. And from here, all I'm doing here is creating in Procreate just a sort of montage of the ideas that I'm going with in this painting. And so I wanted to make sure to get charts of the dragonfly anatomy so I can make sure to have the anatomy correct. How many parts to the body, what does the head look like? Because I've never really actually seen a dragonfly really up close. And so what you're watching here is just my process of studying. Just taking, I don't know, I probably did this for about 15 minutes. Really found the image that spoke to me and the kind how I wanted to work with it. And then, I crop it and sometimes I flip it completely a different way. I usually have a whole process that I work in Procreate. This is a wonderful painting. And I had so much fun being free, and it inspired me to do more paintings like this where I'm just free. And I have other animals and creatures and plants that I want to do the same types of paintings that I can execute in a day. And so if you guys like this, I might make another video kind of showing that. And I think I am going to put this painting for sale on in my Etsy store. Link in the description, or you can click on the QR code in the corner, and that'll take you to all of my socials. And it will also give you a link to my Etsy store. And so from here, I'm just going to let the music play, and I'm just going to let you watch the rest of my process. I really, really hope that this video brought some comfort to any artist of any type out there who is boggled down with life, personal stuff, or the world. I hope that this video gave you permission, and as strong as we are, we all sometimes need permission. We all sometimes need people to tell us it's okay to take a break. It's okay to pour back into you. It's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to want to play. It's okay to want to be light-hearted. And so I say go forth and do just that. I hope this inspired you to do that. Thank you to everybody, all of my new subscribers. I'm honored. Thank you so much. And for those of you that have been riding with me through this wave of me trying to figure out where this channel is going, I also appreciate you and I appreciate your patience. So go out into the world, spread love, light, energy, stay artsy fartsy, and hold people to a standard and have boundaries. All right? Until next time. Peace.